Quantic Media.
What's going on, everybody? Apache BirdMan here with the third installment of the Evolution of Battlefield series, featuring DICE's first ever online-only arcade title, Battlefield 1943. As the days of Bad Company 1 were slowly but surely becoming stale, on February 3rd, 2009, DICE announced Battlefield 1943, which finally released 5 months later on July 8th, for the unbelievable price of $15. Although 1943 was a step back in time, it was a leap forward for the Battlefield series. With the new upgraded Frostbite 1.5 game engine, at the time, 1943 delivered the most vivid and stunning graphics in the Battlefield franchise. Not only did 1943 display incredible scenery, it featured improved destruction. Similar to Bad Company 1, you could blow holes through buildings, but 1943 took it to the next level by allowing destruction of buildings down to their foundation. Considering 1943 is an arcade game set in the World War II era, it wouldn't make any sense for me to describe how some aspects of the game evolved from Bad Company 1, such as weapons or vehicles. That being said, there are still some significant changes done to the game and the Frostbite game engine. So take a wild guess what we're going to begin with. The menus. Battlefield 1943 improved, added or removed some key elements such as squads, matchmaking, private matches, air superiority, ranks, and awards. Just like its predecessor, 1943 used the squad feature, but it was greatly improved. Sure, in Bad Company 1 you had the option to spawn on your squad, but it didn't give you the ability to spawn on a specific squad mate, which was now available in 1943. Moving on to matchmaking, 1943 limited you more than any previous Battlefield. You basically had two options, quick match or join a match with friends. You weren't able to server browse or even pick the map you wanted to play, but considering 1943 was only $15, it wasn't a big setback. In addition to the menus, there was private matches. The only problem was, in order to start a private match, you needed 16 players in total. But of course, the highlight of Battlefield 1943's menu is air superiority, which was not available on day one of the initial release. However, Coral Sea, the fourth map, which only utilized planes, was unlocked after the community altogether reached a total of 43 million kills, and some of you may remember that was unlocked in under 1 week. Finally, the ranks and awards were great, with 48 individual awards to strive for and an extensive ranking system I found humorous. 1943, a $15 arcade title, took 4.5 times more points to reach the highest rank than Bad Company 1, a full-price retailed game. We can all agree 1943's menu was a great step up from Battlefield Bad Company 1's, besides not being able to search for a certain map. But like I said, that wasn't a big deal considering there was only 4 maps: Wake Island, Iwo Jima, Guadalcanal, and Coral Sea. All of these maps are massive and beautifully designed, each of them perfectly suited for the Conquest game mode. Considering 1943 was a World War II game set in the Pacific Theater, the two opposing forces are the United States Marine Corps and the Imperial Japanese Navy. There's a total of 3 playable classes, and each one has unique guns preset for the army you're playing for. Starting off with the Rifleman class, the US Rifleman kit included the M1 Garand, the M17 Rifle Grenade Launcher, MK2 Frag Grenades, and the M1 Bayonet, while the Japanese Rifleman equips the Type 5 Rifle, the Type 41 Rifle Grenade Launcher, the Type 97 Grenades, and the Type 5 Bayonet. The Rifleman class is effective for medium to long range, along with an extremely powerful Rifle Grenade Launcher, but in close encounters with an infantry class, it would most likely be fatal. Speaking of the infantry class, the US infantry kit includes the M1A1 Thompson, the M12 Wrench, MK2 grenades, and the M18 rocket launcher, unlike the Japanese infantry, which carries the Type 100, the Type 12 wrench, Type 97 grenades, and the Type 18 rocket launcher. The infantry class is ideal for close encounters, along with the rocket launcher and wrench repair tool used for destroying and repairing vehicles. But at long range, the infantry class performed weakly, especially against the scout class, which for the US consisted of the M1903 Springfield rifle, the M1911 pistol, TNT, and a detached Springfield bayonet, while the Japanese scout equips the Type 98 scoped rifle, the Type 14 Nambu pistol, TNT explosives, and a samurai sword. The scout class is the most effective long-range kit, as well as having the ability of destroying heavy armor with TNT, if successfully planted. Even though the bolt-action rifle is no match against the other two classes at close range, the scout class is the only class with a pistol for last-ditch defense. So if an upgraded Frostbite engine, a revamped ranking system, 4 gigantic beautiful maps, 3 unique classes and 20 different weapons plus a shit ton more is still not enough for you to buy this game, let's add 10 vehicles. Beginning with the tanks, 1943 featured the US M4A1 Sherman and the Japanese Chiha. Both tanks were the deadliest ground vehicles on the battlefield. With identical performance but a different design, they were equipped with a 75mm cannon, anti-infantry coaxial machine gun, and a top exposed mounted 30 cal Browning gunner. It's easily noticeable that the tank shell is straight from Battlefield Bad Company 1, but the physics and movement became smoother and more controllable. Also, there's 2 transport cars, the USA Willys MB and the Japanese Type 95 Kurgan. Both cars have mounted Browning 30 cals and could transport up to 3 people. These cars are very fast, but have poor armor. They are easy kills for any explosives or machine gun fire. But in the right hands, the 2 vehicles that can annihilate both tanks and transport cars are the US F4U Corsair and the Japanese A6M0. It still amazes me that 1943, an arcade game, was the first Frostbite-powered battlefield to institute aeroplane vehicles. DICE Beyond successfully integrated planes into 1943 with excellent physics and a balanced amount of firepower. Both planes can be effective against almost anything. Its arsenal consists of twin rapid-firing machine guns and bombs, effective for wiping out ground targets, or better yet, air targets. Another impressive part about 1943 is that the bases on Iwo Jima, Wake Island, and Coral Sea are aircraft carriers, each holding 2 planes and 4 landing craft vehicle personnel boats that have 2 mounted 30 cal Browning machine guns, as well as space for 3 passengers and a driver. Finishing off the vehicles, 1943 provided 3 stationaries: the 40mm Bofors AA, which was devastating to aircrafts, the 30 cal Browning, which is mounted on vehicles and strategically placed in bunkers to mow down incoming enemies. Lastly, in relation to Modern Combat and BC-1's artillery strike, 1943 presented the air raid bunker, which in my eyes is the most reasonable. Not only did you have to precisely time the placement and release of the bombs, but you were also defenseless against anti-air guns and enemy planes. But if it was successfully dropped, the air raid would clear a large area leaving nothing alive and was available 1 minute after a player used it. That finishes off the summary of the vehicles. Now I'm briefly going to go over some improvements and changes 1943 featured. Because of the unlimited ammo and health regeneration, the med kits and ammo crates were eliminated. A new realistic change was the addition of a gravity effect for the rocket launchers. Unlike Modern Combat or BC-1, where the rocket went perfectly straight with 0 gravity drop. Finally, after falling to my death numerous times in Bad Company 1, DICE came back to their senses. In Battlefield 1943, the parachute was back. Even though 1943 was a $15 arcade title, it was the greatest $15 I've ever spent. Still to this day, it strikes me with its stunning graphics, massive maps, huge selection of weapons and vehicles, and some of the greatest Battlefield moments I've ever had. In addition, 1943 went on to become the fastest selling download-only game after the first week, as well as becoming the top-selling Xbox Live Arcade game of 2009. So that concludes part 3 of the Evolution of Battlefield series. Thank you so much for watching, and if you please could, leave some feedback in the comments below. If you enjoyed the hard work, please show some support by giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing for much more Battlefield content, especially part 4, the biggest production of the series. I hope to see you all there. Peace out.